Well, I'll share the link as well.
Yes,
I'm gonna,
yes.
I'm gonna
So,
tweet. I'm gonna share it right now. Hold on.
yeah. All right, all right. This should be good conversation because there's a lot to cover.
Yes, we can talk about Smollett as well.
No, I got that. I said, Smollett. I want to talk about all of it. The Chris Brown, the Stevie J, um, all of it.
Okay.
All of it, all of it, all of it. Welcome, welcome everyone. Come on in. We are going to have some good conversation. This is an emergency, it's emergency breaking news conversation, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Kanye, Pete Davidson, DL Hughley,
And Trevor Noah.
and Trevor Noah, right? And all of it. I mean, I think it's safe to say that anyone else that comes out and says that this behavior that we see happening from Kanye is unhealthy is probably going to get thrown into the mix of this. I
Anyone
wanted
comes out publicly and say it. You can say it to yourself or to your family, but don't come public because he has time to. Well, actually, don't have time. He actually received a timeout today.
Did he?
Yeah, Instagram suspended his account for 24 hours. So
Well,
he
I
don't
guess
have
the
time today. He
least
have
they
time
could
maybe
do,
tomorrow night or the next.
considering, did you see this?
Yeah, I saw that. That was the artwork that he released. I guess to make I don't know, to intimidate.
Yeah, he's off the chain. Let's. Who are we going to start with today? Who can we start with this conversation?
Well, do you want to do the last thing breaking? Go from last to first.
Let's do the last thing breaking that you just told me that I did not know about.
Okay, I want to
We'll
share
go
this
from
first. I want to share this
Let's
with.
do the last thing breaking that you just told me.
I want to share this before we start. Give me a second, and I know people are tuning in. I just want to share this to the world because before we get in, I want everyone to know who I have the pleasure of talking to. Okay, all right, it's shared. Let's go.
All right, let me take this. All right, here we go. All right, so guys, welcome to From Christal XO. This is a breaking news conversation with one of my good friends, but he's also, he knows everything from every angle. Hip Hop Enquirer, TMZ, and so many other news sources pull from the information that he gets, and he is here tonight. Please help me welcome my guest is Dennis Byron. Dennis, thank you for joining me tonight.
Anything for you, Christal, because when Christal call, I come running. I don't care about making a lamb stew, which I was upstairs making.
Is that what you're making, lamb stew?
In the pressure cooker, so it'll be done in about.
So we've interrupted Dennis's lamb stew.
Connection. I'm here. Probably because my motor's upstairs. I don't know if I need to go upstairs, but let's try it. We'll try it.
Lamb stew, huh?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So we were planning this conversation a couple of days ago, and then things kept happening. So let's first start with I put up the CNN post for Jussie Smollet is actually about to be released. He probably is released now, right?
I kind of wish you put up the TMZ post because TMZ broke it first, but we'll talk about that later.
Shout out to TMZ.
Earlier today, the appeals court granted Jussie Smollett a temporary stay of sorts, and ordered him to be released pending the outcome of his appeal. As you well know, Jussie was sentenced almost 2 weeks ago. Has it been 2 weeks? Last week.
Last week, yeah.
He was sentenced last week to 150 days in jail, 30,000 months of, excuse me, I'm sorry, it's late. 30 months of probation, as well as 125,000 fine, 120,000 fine, restitution, and 25,000 fine.
Mm-hmm.
And did I miss anything? Because they was hitting it with, and one other thing, and a tongue lashing that lasted over half an hour by the judge.
That was, yeah, people were a little upset about, more so upset about the tongue lashing than the actual sentence. First of all, Dennis, what were your thoughts when you heard the verdict? And did you think that would, were you surprised by it?
If you listen to the recitation by the judge, you would think that he was actually not going to jail. He went from one level to another level. And I knew that when he started talking about Jesse Jackson and the civil rights movement, I knew he was getting some time. I knew this time coming. I said, okay, this is, this long recitation, usually when judges do that, they're about to give you a whole bunch of time. That is, in his case, 5 months is a lot of time because, one, this was a nonviolent crime. He really hurt, in my opinion. This is my opinion. He really hurt himself. And I think that we spoke about this a minute ago, but I think that based on what Kim Foxx had concluded previously, and I'm not sure if you saw an op-ed piece that she wrote right after the case, but she put it in context as to why she came to the conclusion that the case should have been, adjudicated at that point and not, brought forward. And there's some things that the judge said initially that made me think that, what is the judge saying? Now, you do know how the case went from Kim Foxx saying that, no, we don't want to, we not want to proceed with it. He did community service. He paid a fine. But based on what this last judge said, and I don't remember the judge's name off the top of my head, but he basically said it was because of a regular citizen who felt that the way Kim Foxx handled it was wrong. But what the judge failed to say, that regular citizen was a retired appellate court judge that would have heard that case had she not retired. So she wasn't a regular citizen that would had the, regular citizens don't have the power to get a case that was, pretty much resolved, brought back up. But because of who she was, and he kind of, he lied, and I won't say the judge lied, but he made light of the fact that the person who made the most stink about him being released based on Ms. Fox's decision, she wasn't a regular citizen. She was a former appellate judge. Right. And I think that may be one of the issues that may be raised in this appeal. And they have a lot of issues to raise in the appeal. While people don't think, well, this is not an appealable case. He did lie. And I'm not defending him, but I would say that the sentence doesn't justify the crime. I was good up until he got to the 150 days. And I know you might feel differently, but I think that, I look at the case in New York, and for those who remember, there was I want to say it was Karen, her name. No, that's not her name. Karen wasn't her name, but she was a Karen. She was in the Central Park, and it was a African-American brother that was bird watching in Central Park. And apparently she had a problem with him, and I guess he was being loud or whatever the case. She had a problem with that. So she called 911, NYPD, and made a false claim about the brother. And as a result, the police moved on that situation to a point where she made a false claim against him. Right. She had to go through the process. They put through, ultimately they charged her, and she got probation once it was over with. And
let me ask you this though, and if you guys are just joining, we're talking. Obviously, we are here doing a breaking news story. We just learned that Jussie Smollet is actually being released, pending appeal, and so that is the first order of business on this conversation with Dennis Byron tonight. But I think that yes, we talked about that case and the fact that she did not serve any time. I think the thing that's different about this is that Jussie went on national news. He went on national morning show, several shows, and talked about the attack. And the attack was trending everywhere. And I think it also could incite, it incited more division between just on behalf of the LGBTQ community. And I think when you're talking about something,
do you really think that? Do you really think?
I do, because I feel like I said this when it first happened, like for someone to say that someone put a noose around their neck, it's not just, it's racially divisive. That definitely could have had could have caused a after effect, because of the type of things that he was saying was very, very, it was full of vitriol and very, that could cause people to have a reaction to that. The N-word, a noose around your neck, faggot, all that. I just think that could have been it definitely could have caused a reaction that would have been long-standing. I think the reason it didn't is because the story was so ridiculous that people
Very
knew
ridiculous.
he wasn't telling the truth, but his intent was to incite others to be upset and passionate. I mean, he was out here with his fist up. His fist up was again in the court. I fought back and I'm going to fight, basically suggesting that people should be upset, and it is divisive. So that's the difference.
Well, let me ask you a question.
The lady in New York.
Do you think, and I'm not defending him, and I will say that I believe that he was 100% guilty as charged. What I'm saying to you is that when he did this, and he had other people that corroborated that he told a lie, the two brothers. So There's no doubt that he lied. And it was no doubt when he went to the second case that he lied, because he wouldn't have had to do community service and pay a fine in the first case. So that was not a problem. The reason why Kim Foxx, I want to make sure people understand why. Do you know why Kim Foxx dropped the charge?
No, I don't know.
She dropped the charge because the chief of police at the time went on Good Morning America. The chief of police, who's responsible for filing the charges, went on Good America, was doing a whole press run.
Right.
And that in itself tainted the jury pool. Good Morning America is a national show. So he couldn't have got a fair trial based on that. And she realized that. How's this man gonna get a fair trial when the chief of police is talking about the Empire Star? So again, I liken that to a prosecutor who has promised a defendant that they were not going to bring charges in a civil case. We're talking Bill Cosby, because again, the scale was tilted when the chief of police went on television at the height of the investigation. This is still doing it. He wasn't even charged yet. He wasn't indicted yet.
I know, because this is all because Jussie drew up this lie and involved the police.
I get that. We know he's a liar. But why is the chief of police, the person who is responsible for gathering evidence, now injecting himself in the story to a point where he couldn't get a fair trial? And if we allow law enforcement to be able to influence a jury, but then have to come back in later on to testify in front of that jury, that's not, the scale of justice is not balanced. Irregardless of the fact he's a liar, he needs probation, he needs probably psychological treatment. So I get it. And I think that the judges in their infinite wisdom tonight realized that some things wasn't done properly.
Dennis,
and they granted him a reprieve until they can hear the case in its totality, the arguments of the case. Because there were a lot of objections made during the case. I mean, Jussie Smollet got
you can tell us about,
a little pissed off.
You
got to understand and lie.
You can tell us about the objections raised in the case. What I'm seeing, and I think I see Teresa says Jussie Smollet should have done his jail time. Ashley says, I agree. This whole thing is a joke. This is the problem. When you include celebrity into a case, then I think that's why this whole thing happened and he was released, because you had so much celebrity support behind him. A lot of celebrities were on his page supporting him. We saw Beyonce's mom put out a whole statement about why.
Taraji.
Taraji Henson.
Like in this situation, Emmett Till.
My point is, if this was a first of all, this was a person that had a regular job, because I think all of us are the same. Celebrities aren't any different. They just have a different job. Because he has a different job, he was given a lot of grace that a regular working person would not have. And I think that's unfair. And I think the reason that the judge allowed this is because all the pressure of the celebrity influence on the legal system. And we can't say that's not true, because we see R. Kelly is in jail right now because of a documentary. So let's acknowledge that celebrity and how we look at pop culture and what's going on social and the news does impact the legal system. We have to acknowledge that, right?
I would agree with you, and I would also say that while his celebrity might have, in his case, I think it was more to his disadvantage, because there are a lot of people like Teresa and others who might have watched Empire, was a fan, but this, like the news part, I take issue with that, because we've had hangings in Piedmont Park that has not been solved.
Right.
We have the Atlanta child murders that occurred in Atlanta that we don't know for a fact that Wayne Weems committed all those murders. So we have different cases that a lot of resources is required to try to solve. So when he did something like this, he pulled away from the resources of other cases being able to be investigated.
That's my point. He went and pushed this. He pushed this, and you're right, Marriott. He caused the police department had to move quickly because he was causing so much attention to a story that made absolutely no sense, but it could have incited members of the LGBT community to feel a certain way. It could have incited African Americans, because again, he was pushing on all these passion points where people are hurting and there's division already. And I think that's what bothered me so much, is that's very dangerous, because you're causing a perspective to be created that is not there. No one is looking for Jussie Smollet at 2:00 in the morning talking about you nigger faggot. Like, that's just ridiculous that he would even have put that out there, but it could have caused others to feel a certain way.
It was an easy case. It was 2 a.m. in the morning. He happens to walk out to get something to eat, and it happened to MAGA people.
Right.
Huh?
On a subway in the middle of the night. It was food. But he did that. He did that to get attention, and he did that. I don't know if he was trying to promote his career or promote an agenda.
Christal, you got to remember, Empire their numbers were suffering during the time. If you recall, Empire was suffering. 50 Cent was bashing Empire, and it was just a train wreck. And Jussie wanted to, I guess, distract from what was happening with the show and what 50 was saying, and put himself out there so he could be saving the show. This is, and it would have helped the show. It would have helped the show had they bought the story. I mean, and the judge said so. The second judge said so. Pretty much, he did it for the publicity. He didn't do it for the money, because he was worth over $2 million at the time.
But his contract was being renegotiated, and that's what a lot of people felt like. He was trying to do something to give himself a little bit more leverage in his contract renegotiations to get more money. And we saw Lee Daniels actually supported him. So many people supported him.
Lee Daniels could have benefited from this whole debacle.
I'm not gonna lie. At first, I thought he was in on it. I was like, is Lee Daniels in on it to make Empire, a hit?
We don't know. We don't know.
No. The story was too bad. It's not even that. So at the end of the day, because I want to wrap up, Jussie,
I'm sure you do.
My point to you earlier is you cannot use what happened in another case to defend yourself. Just like saying when you're younger, saying, well, you know what? Yes, I stole something, but someone else stole something last week and they got away with it. Like that doesn't work. So he's wrong.
In law, it does. You can use reference cases.
Yes, reference cases, but not something that happened on, that we saw a couple of years ago. If it's a part of a law, that's different, but that's not what this is. This is people saying, well, she can get away with it, so I should be able to get away with it. No one should be able to get away with lying to the police. Someone could have been charged falsely. It's just like we're going to talk about here with this Chris Brown case. People should be held accountable for lying to the police and taking up, the city and state's money and time to go after crimes that have not been committed. There has to be some precedent set so people stop doing that.
I agree with you. And I do agree that Jussie Smollett should get punished for his act, but I think the prison part, I don't, again, first time committing the crime. If you cover as many cases in the courtroom as I have, I've seen people get off for more serious cases.
Okay.
And I just think that while a lot of people are upset at Jussie, and a lot of people wouldn't even do that. 99% of people would not make such a ridiculous story.
No.
And I get that part, but I mean, to hang him on the cross, so to speak.
5 months in jail is not hanging him on the cross.
Oh, listen, in jail, they probably was waiting to hang him on the cross.
He's not going to be out. He's not going to be in general population. We know that he's not. But I don't agree. I think he has to be held accountable. I think this is going to, first of all, he's not even admitted that he was lying. He's still putting his fist up and saying that he's innocent. That is what adds insult to injury for me. It's like, just say you lied and let's move on. But
I know a blogger that lost a major suit against a high profile celebrity, never admitted that she lied. It cost her $4 million. I digress.
She still has not. And I think that's why people are upset with her also. Just say you were wrong. Just say you were wrong. And then we can move on. But Jussie's not going to do that.
No, he's not.
Well, so what do you think is going to happen before we get out of here? What do you think is going to happen when he goes back up for an appeal?
I mean, it's a flip of the coin at this point. I think if we go based on this first win, because this is a win right here. Him coming out, he's walking out tonight.
Yeah, he's going to put it in our faces. He's going to be on social.
The fist is going up.
Fist up. Yeah.
And I think if he, change his position, maybe even, he's not going to admit he's wrong.
He's too far in now. He's not.
So I think it depends, if he shuts up, don't say anything, I think that's going to work in his favor. But if he keep on talking, he's going to piss off those judges that again will look at, one of their former colleagues pretty much blew the whistle on him, and they're going to look at how he behaves in this appeal process. They got to perfect. They have 30 days to perfect the appeal, and they're going to take that to the door. They're going to wait till the 29th day to file. Yeah. And then it has to be considered by the higher court. Well, so we don't know. I don't know what the outcome is going to be. I was surprised with this outcome, so I don't know.
I think people are surprised. I'm not surprised because I saw Tina Knowles go live. Put up a big post, and Taraji and so many different heavy-hitting celebrities that have influence beyond what we see on social media. So I think this is all a part of that. But we'll see. We'll definitely have to come back and have another conversation. You guys, please chime in with your comments so that we can see what you guys are thinking about these topics. I know Ashley says she's tired of hearing about Jussie, Kanye, and Chris Brown, but we got to talk about.
It's the gift that keeps giving.
It's the Kanye. Can we let's slide into Kanye, and I don't even know where to start. Kanye and Pete, or as he says, Skeet. Kanye and DL Hughley. I was in Hartford, Connecticut at 90s Con with TLC, and I'm getting alerts and things are going crazy. It's Kanye and DL Hughley going back and forth on social media.
Do you have DL Hughley's jokes? Because they were hilarious.
Of course. First, why would Kanye say that? I don't know if you guys let me know what you guys think. Kanye is saying that DL Hughley is not funny. First of all, DL Hughley is hilarious.
He's hilarious.
What I like about DL Hughley is he's also very intelligent. So that's a dangerous.
Right. When you get an intelligent comedian going at you, it's like game over. And he ripped him apart. He ripped him apart. Kanye wanted to send the goons after him.
And that's another thing, Kanye. My problem with Kanye, I said this yesterday on my radio show. I think that Kanye is one of the most insecure, and I think most people have insecurities, but his first line of defense is his own success. And to make fun of how could DL afford to be in Calabasas? God is good. He's broke. I mean, he's going after stuff that shows that he has no character and he's extremely insecure because DL Hughley has been a celebrity for years. People know who he is. He's chosen not to do certain things, and Kanye's chosen to do other things, but that doesn't mean that he's not a celebrity. That doesn't mean that he's not successful. Like Kanye being a person that says you should prove your success by how much money you have and how much influence you have, to me is just a huge epic fail on his part.
Absolutely. I think that once he went there, I mean, and then he can't handle, he can throw rocks, but he can't, he can't receive the rocks.
Mm-mm.
And he realized that, after all, like the picture you posted of him having Pete Davidson pretty much in the ground, but Pete Davidson waited, then came back and I thought it was, at first I got a little upset when Pete said, "I'm in the bed with your wife."
Why'd you get
I'm in the
upset
bed with
when
your
he said
wife.
that?
Pete Davidson said that. I'm like,
but why did you get upset? Why'd you get upset when Pete said that?
Because it was a low blow after a divorce. Literally, it wasn't a week cold on divorce. He said, "I'm in the bed. I'm in the bed."
But Kanye has been going off on him. Pete has been quiet, and then the first thing he says was, "I'm taking a picture from in bed with your wife." Kanye again
with the tattoo.
We'll talk about that in a minute. That's not good for Pete. But I mean, Kanye was going in on Pete this whole time. That's the obvious thing to say. And again, Pete is a comedian. He's a depressed comedian, but he's still a comedian, and he's smart as well. But he's been open about his struggle with mental health. But he's sharp. He's a writer on SNL.
It may be an opening for Kanye, and I'll tell you why. Pete Davidson did a joke about talking about a little kid.
Yeah,
that was a little disturbing.
That is.
I hope Kim's listening to that. Why are you doing jokes about little kids? And the type of joke he was doing.
I don't know why Kim is dating Pete Davidson. Let me just say that. I don't know why. I don't know what's happening, what she's going through. We all know that people deal with rebounds when you come out of a relationship, but that's weird. But the point is, Kanye is fueling his anger at Pete, and Pete is not the problem. The problem is Kim and Kanye did not have a co-parenting plan together. I don't know what happened. They had 4 children, like they had 4 children back to back, and then a divorce back to back. Now, I want to go back. Did you see the video of North that caused him to get upset?
I didn't see that video. I heard about it.
I saw the video, and I'm not gonna lie, I would have a problem. There was a video where she has on like emo makeup. She's got like dark makeup on, and she's saying that she fell in love with an emo. She's singing a song, "I fell in love with an emo girl."
Can you tell me what is an emo girl?
This is an opportunity to educate me. My kids have told me what that is before. I just know it's kids that wear dark colors and that wear a lot of black, and it seems like they're very emotional, right? I guess emo, I don't know. But so my 8-year-old would not be allowed to do that, right? Would not be allowed to get online and see that. But I also am not Kim Kardashian. I have a different set of values than Kim Kardashian. Kanye boasted and bragged on the fact that Kim, made a sex tape and everybody wanted to watch it. Now he's got these beautiful kids. All this was cool for him, right? It was very cool. I got a trophy. Your mama got all of you guys are 10s. This is the woman that you chose to have a child with, right? So as a man, when you choose who you're going to have as the mother of your children, then you have to understand her morals, her values are all going to get passed down to those children. I don't think anyone is shocked that Kim Kardashian's daughter, 8-year-old daughter, is on TikTok and is on social media. That is what the family does. So now Kanye is crying, and no one feels sorry for him, because I'm like, but that's what you signed up for. You wanted a woman that got famous by using her sexuality. Her entire family does that. So why would you think that your children would be, would not have the same, situation as their mother? That's ridiculous to me.
So you think Kanye's feeling like his kids may adopt some of the lifestyle.
Of course that's who their mother is. Do you think that North is not aware of the fact that her mother is famous because she's always on live? This is a woman that photoshopped her daughter out of a picture one time because she didn't look aesthetically pleasing to the selfie. That's what she does. So Of course, her daughter is going to do that. Like, I don't, am I crazy? Like, yeah, you guys let me know. I'm just like, what did you think? You thought you were going to be with this woman that became famous through a sex tape with Ray J, and all of a sudden your children were going to be raised in a conservative household?
Well, I think Kanye is just abusive. Just look at what he did with his ex-girlfriend.
Which one?
Amber Rose. Just think of the stuff that he was saying, and I mean, it's not like it's unexpected that Kanye would do that. Look at what he's doing with these comedians, and you know, I mean,
I think that all fathers have a right to weigh in on what their children are doing. I think that in
absolutely.
In a perfect world, the father's concerns should definitely be taken into consideration. I think, unfortunately, in this situation, Kanye is not healthy, and he's not in his right mind. But I think all men that are, you have a guy that'll be with a girl that's a dancer, and that's, has an OnlyFans page, and that's what she does. Then you have a child with her, and it's like, oh my God, she's not doing homework with my child. That you pick your child's mother based on that person's values, and know that those values will be passed down to your children. And that's in the story.
There's an old saying, hey, you can't make it into a housewife.
And this was what happens when it does. And every single, I think, didn't Tiger get upset with Blac Chyna? I'm like, when did Blac Chyna show you her parenting skills? Not saying that she's not a good mother, but I'm just saying, at what point were you attracted to her for the moral compass that she represented? Like, I'm not surprised that North is doing this. No one is upset, and Kanye needs to get himself under control. But
right, because the brand, Kim's brand, is about sexuality, and let's be honest, that's what her brand is about. So why does Kanye think that she's going to change? And he might have been too overbearing on her, and that's probably why the marriage went the way it did. I mean, this is the first marriage in a while where I seen a filing where she just wanted to forget the other stuff. Just get me out of here.
Get me out. Yeah.
Just get me out of here. We'll talk about the money and stuff later. Let's make me a free woman.
But the way he's reacting shows us, I'm certain that Kim endured a lot. Because you remember when he was having an episode and she actually asked the public not to make fun of him. Like, there was a lot going on that she tried to deal with without taking it to the public. It's unfortunate that he's not mature enough or not on medicine. I don't know what the situation is, but something's not right.
Do you think the court should be involved? Do you think it's going to get we know what Trevor Noah said last night. Mm-hmm. And I like what he said. And I just hope he didn't say all this as a play to get to Kim, because I listened to it, and sometimes, I don't know. Does he have eyes for Kim? I don't know, because that's what some people have been saying. But he did say some real stuff. He says
I thought he said, I don't know Trevor Noah to be. He seems to be a pretty straight shooter. He's also another intelligent comedian. I'm just like, Kanye, this is not good. All these comedians are very they're great at being able to create situations and write content that connects with pop culture. But he was really transparent in what he said about his own experience. Right. And I do think that because a lot of the people that I've talked to that have mentioned this situation with Kim have alluded to the fact that they'd had an experience where they went through with someone that was stalking them or was unable to let go I had a situation like that. I tried to break up with my high school boyfriend, and he would not break up. So I think it triggers a lot of people. So I like that Trevor Noah spoke up. Even DL Hughley initially was not being as negative as he has become because of Kanye's,
Kanye came from
clap back.
Yeah, he came from.
Where do you think this is going? I hope this does not get to where, to me, Kanye saying, I have enough money to hurt you.
That would require, just saying that. I know that's a threat. That's a real threat. Mm-hmm. And that threat made Instagram want to react. that was a real threat. And then the whole kumbaya with Trevor Noah.
Trevor Noah, right?
Yeah, that he might get the Donald Trump treatment and be banned from the Instagram if we keep doing that. Because there was a point where Kanye wasn't even getting on Instagram. You remember, right?
I remember. Yeah.
And how do you stop someone from spreading that? You take away their voice. Where's it going to go if they silence it? It just, I don't think it's good for his brand. While people think that Kanye, I don't really think it's good for his brand. And then DL Hughley attacked his way of dressing. That was hilarious.
Well, that's because Kanye attacked his. And he's like, "Who are you to talk about fashion?" Kanye, and then what's up with him dating this girl that looks a lot like Kim Kardashian, trying to create this?
And what's her name? Chandler Jones or something like that? Or
it's sad. It's sad, and I don't know. I think we've been talking about mental health, and someone mentioned that earlier, that all these guys that we're talking about are struggling with mental health issues. I don't know that it's helping, though. I think it's demonstrating bad behavior. And just like with Jussie Smollet, if other people that are dealing with issues this way see that they can get away with this, I think it can cause more harm than good. I think if men that see Kanye's actions, that have a proclivity to be that way, if they see Kanye get away with this, that could cause them to think that they're able to get away with it. So I think it's really more dangerous than people think.
And while OJ wasn't convicted, he was civilly convicted of the death of Nicole Simpson Brown, Nicole Brown Simpson, and Mr. Goldman. And if you remember, leading up to this, there was a lot of abuse going on leading up to this. The 911 calls and if I can remember some of the calls to the day, how he was screaming in the background, and and I don't know. I mean, Kanye does have a lot of money, and he can make things happen.
He does, but for him to make that statement, hopefully anyone he would try to hire would be like, "Are you kidding me? Like, you just gave it away. You're talking too much. Like, shut up." Like,
let's just hope that that's not even a consideration.
I hope not, but I think Kanye is somebody that definitely is not acting rationally.
Right.
And it's unfortunate because there are 4 children. It's like they literally had 4 children, and then it's weird. It's very strange.
Back to back, as a matter of fact.
Let's talk about this Chris Brown case, because I think, to me, it kind of connects back to what we were talking about with Jussie Smollett. There was another situation a few years ago, I don't know if you remember, where a girl came out and accused Chris Brown of rape, and it was not true then either. Mm-hmm. And then this girl accused him of drugging her and raping her, which is, very on trend for, especially right now, because this is like when it happened the first time, we weren't clearly in the middle, or in the midst of a total different movement, the Me Too movement, where now we see that men are definitely being held accountable a lot more. So the first girl came out and said this a few years ago. I'm sure there's been probably more in between, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But I remember TMZ had the story, and then it was proved that wasn't true. And now here's another girl. But the difference this time is Chris Brown had phone recording, voice messages from the girl. And so the case was dismissed. Her lawyers actually dropped her case.
Well, here's the problem here. I'm going to tell you, it should never even been filed. And I'm going to blame the lawyer, and I'll tell you why. Mm-hmm. The lawyer didn't do due diligence. Yeah. And the first thing a lawyer considering filing a case like this, they were asked for, let me see all the communication you had between him and you. Mm-hmm. Let's see the communication, especially based on the allegations you made. And if the lawyer didn't ask for that, then the lawyer didn't do a good job. And I think it was a money grab, because that lawyer was associated with another case, actually 2 cases that are very controversial. And I think the lawyer thought that, in my opinion, that they wouldn't have to go through to the courthouse and get a settlement, get some type of settlement, because it was something the lawyer had to see for her to say, yeah, this is enough to file a suit. Because I know another high profile case that I actually worked on where the lawyer was, let's just say, very aggressive in going against a famous singer. Sounds familiar?
It does sound familiar.
Right. So that lawyer didn't do due diligence, even after she was told that this case didn't have the merits for a civil case. Yeah. But it was like, no, we're still going to file it. We're still going to, you file the case, you smear this guy's name. It's no different than Chris Brown. Chris Brown was easy pickings because of the whole situation with Rihanna.
Right. His reputation. So I told you I talked to someone that is close to him, someone that's right hand in his camp, and he said that they are planning to go after the young lady and sue her, which I told him I think they should. I hope they do. And I hope that she has to actually go to jail and do more than and do some time. Like you cannot.
Well,
we have to stop
civil suit, criminal suit. There should be the problem is that she never filed a police report, so there won't be a criminal case.
Okay.
And as far as suing, think about it. It's going to cost. If they take it in state court, it's going to cost maybe $50,000-$100,000. What are they going to sue someone for who doesn't have money, who's trying to come at your money? So I think it'll be a symbolic lawsuit. Symbolic.
It's the point. Yeah, it's the point. I think that he needs to stand up for himself. And we've talked about this with men needing to stand up for themselves. Now, I think, first of all, just as I'm going to say as a woman, I feel like this should be an example to men. Be very careful, like, because he actually had sexual relationships with the woman. And she turned around and did this. I know this happens a lot, but this should be a lesson to men to be very careful. When your eyes, are attracted to something, be careful before that you get. I don't know. You just got to handle yourself a little bit differently.
I said this the other day. It's something that I do. I make sure I have a check and balance in any situation. And not that I have to go in the vault and pull out the receipts, but you're not catching me slipping or no way, not happening. So, if you have ideas of trying to get to my paper, you're gonna have an uphill battle.
Are you being targeted by by young women that want that?
Why gotta be young women? It could be old women.
It could. Are you being targeted by
no, I'm not.
Strategic women?
Strategic
women.
Unfortunately, let me just say, unfortunately, I have met some strategic women that thought they played the game of chess well, but they didn't play the game of chess well.
Have you been accused of things like that?
There you go.
I'm just saying, I'm just asking.
Well, no, many years ago, I had a situation that it required me to spend money, but it all came out that the person had made a false claim with someone else. And the person that she within months earlier. So it, obviously I had to spend some money, but yeah, I was 100% vindicated.
Well, men need to be careful, as do women. But I think outside of that, there should be some type of protocol that's legal. When you file a police report that's false, you should be held accountable for that. That's my thing.
The problem, let me say something. The problem with that is, and anyone that understands law, prosecutors don't want to, and I think it's sad, they don't want to go after women who file false police reports because it will discourage other women who have legitimate cases.
But this discourages women with legitimate cases. When you come out and say that you were drugged and raped and it's not true, then a woman that did happen to is going to automatically not be believed because of this bullshit. That's my problem. Even the situation with Jussie, there are people that are doing hate crimes, racially motivated hate crimes, gender and sexuality motivated hate crimes. And when people lie, then it takes away from, it's like the boy who cried wolf. And that's why I feel like they do need to be held accountable.
It could have started a whole protest, a whole riot. It could have been something really ugly.
That's my point.
It could have went bad. But it was so far-fetched. The whole 2 a.m. going to Subways. I've never went to Subways at 2 a.m.
Nobody has.
Right.
Nobody has. And in Chicago at 2 o'clock in the morning in the dead winter, No way. There's no way. But back to Chris Brown, I think that there are, and I know from working with celebrities, from being around behind the scenes in the business, there are a lot of women that do this. And I think there has to be, just like there's a Me Too movement, there has to be a way to protect.
I created a hashtag.
What is that?
Like there was a Me Too movement, and I said, "We too matter."
That's true.
We too matter.
Yeah. I don't think I think there are a lot of men that I'm learning, just from talking, and there are a lot of times when women are lying and they're automatically believed because we see that, women have been victims of a lot of different things. And it's not everything from lying about who the baby's father is, and then it comes out later that it's not the father, to rape, to not getting money from child support and realizing that that's a lie. It's so many things that are happening. And I think you're right. Men, him too. Men
listen. True story. Someone tried to say, "Oh, I that happened too," until I got the DNA. Nah, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. But the fact of the matter is, I paid them, and this is true. I paid all the expenses up into the point of getting a DNA test right after the baby was born.
Wow.
And it came out that I wasn't the father.
I have a friend that the girl was 18 years old, had graduated from high school, and he learned that it was not his child, and he was heartbroken. That was his only child. He was heartbroken, absolutely heartbroken. And the crazy thing was, the mother had told the daughter that she was not his. They were both tricking him. The daughter, I don't blame her because she was a child, but her mother. So I just think that things are going
to. Let me ask you a question. Do you think it should be a prerequisite at the DNA test be taken at the hospital to make sure?
At this point, yeah, because I mean, especially if you're not married. Now, I think if you're married,
I want the test no matter what.
But that would be up to the person, but if you're not married, you definitely need a test. Need a test.
I'm just joking. I mean, listen. You don't have to take a test if you're married, because if you're taking a test and it comes to prove that you're not the father, that's a crime. That's adultery, and it's a problem. So
yeah, that's true.
I don't think you'll want to go down that. But if you're not married, I think everyone should take a test. I think everyone. Yeah,
especially if you go to court for child support. If you go to court for child support,
right?
So you have to prove legitimacy.
That is big, because now you're on the hook thousands and thousands of dollars.
It could be, and not only that, emotional. That I don't even think the money was such a big issue for this person. His heart was broken. That was he believed that was his only child. Now he has no blood. It was a bad situation. Very bad situation.
I'm gonna tell you something. It felt so. I felt betrayed, because it was just the betrayal that like you forgot the little detail that you were involved with someone while you were involved with me. So I'm paying and making sure you're good and doing everything, but then you had the baby, and I said, no, I think we should take, because I think we should just do a DNA.
Yeah.
And she was like, we don't need to do that. Okay. Once she said that, I said, yeah, we definitely need to do it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't know why women do that. I guess, especially in these situations, they're going after the check, but that's both sides. So, but it's unfortunate. And I definitely hope that Chris Brown does, because he has the money and he has the time. So I hope he does what he needs to do and makes an example out of this young lady. Her identity should be exposed, because at the point, because I remember when I saw TMZ, break the story about him being accused of rape by another girl. I'm telling you, the court of public opinion is so ready to hold him guilty that, that still is a mark against him. So I think he should definitely go after her.
So I want to kind of shift the conversation. You said exposed. As you see, I have a shirt on, and you're interviewing me, and we're talking. Let's talk about the the interview we saw a couple of days ago,
Yeah.
where former Love and Hip Hop stars, producer, super producer, I don't know if he's a super producer now, but a producer, was doing an interview. And we're talking about obviously Stevie J was doing an interview with a young lady. Do you know the young lady's name, by the way?
I don't know her name. I don't know her name. I'm not familiar with her, but I am. I'm pulling it up right now. I was disgusted, Dennis, and I literally, I thought about you. I was like, you know.
Wait, whoa. Why are you thinking about me?
No, I thought about you because of our conversations.
Oh, okay.
Again, you know, when we think about media and Black media and
right.
how me as a reporter for Rolling Out definitely can't get some of the tips that you can get working for TMZ because it's not an urban outlet, right?
Right.
So what bothers me is that a lot of times our own people of color do not support and do not take seriously Black media. So when I see this person who is no longer on a reality show, Stevie J, I don't know what he's doing right now. I don't know what he's produced as of late, but we try to support, Black media tries to support our talent, right? And then for him to dismiss and belittle that interview by being so disrespectful. And I said to you on the phone earlier today, if that had been Vanity Fair or Us Weekly, he would never have done that. He did that because he did not value that outlet. And I believe that a lot of times we don't value ourselves. And that's what pissed me off. I don't know why she continued the interview.
But and that was a big question for me. Why were you laughing? First of all, who does an interview laying in bed with their shirt off? And you want to be taken serious. And I think this was a in looking at it, I think she did it because this was a moment. And this shouldn't have been a moment. This actually, it was a black eye for, was she a journalist? I guess she,
well, she has, it was Leah Henry with Leah's Lemonade. And I'm gonna take up for her. I don't know her, but what I do think is you got to realize, for a journalist, especially a blogger, if you're new, I don't know how long her page has been around, but a lot of times getting someone that does have the potential to actually make people come to your site is a big thing, right? So I'm going to assume maybe she didn't know what to do. Maybe she did not. Maybe she was trying, this was a big interview for her. Maybe she just wasn't sure what to do. But I mean, for him to be so disrespectful as to say, yo, come suck me off during an interview, I don't think any of the blame is on her. It's all on his.
No, it was wrong, totally wrong. And if cancel culture was to really work for the right reason, that would be the reason.
Yeah.
And I think I was embarrassed as a black man seeing this guy get on TV, and not TV, but get on her platform and say the things he said. It was just awful. And
yeah.
I just can't believe the things people do for clout. Just the things that people do. And I talked about this earlier, the things people do for clout. Like they have, I mean, he has kids. He has children.
Stevie J is in his 50s. Can we just say that for him to be a man that you would think, I was talking about this with Rebecca Lynn Pope yesterday. Stevie J is 50 years old. At some point, you would expect someone like him, who has been a part of the music industry for years, who's had huge success, to be a mentor, to be someone that would be a great example for younger men that are trying. If this was a 18-year-old that just hit it big and had a hit single and was doing something stupid like that, we would be upset, but it would be a little bit more understandable. Maybe he doesn't get it. He's being an idiot. 50 years old, you know better, and you just choose to continue to be an idiot. My granny used to say, some people get old for no reason. It's embarrassing. It's disgusting. Like, he's 50 years old. You have had women all your life. To think that you would do this during an interview is absolutely ridiculous. Now, she released a statement because she was getting a lot of journalists were saying, I'm going to say, I would have hung up immediately and I would never interview him again. But she said all these journalism majors, quote unquote sarcasm, well, paragraph, parentheses, sarcasm, telling me how to conduct interviews. I went to one of the top journalism schools in the country. I know how to conduct a professional interview. I'll address this Stevie J interview on my podcast because some of y'all make me sick. I ain't mad at her. She said, I'm going to get the views on the podcast. I don't understand why she continued, except for the fact, like I said, maybe she didn't understand. Maybe she was just thrown off. And
I'm curious as to why she continued. I think, for a journalist, coming out of school now, they should also, get to understand why she continued it.
Yeah.
And I mean, someone like yourself or myself who's been doing this for a while, immediate reaction is to end the interview.
I would have ended the interview, and I would have, and whoever set up the interview. That's why people love going straight to the celebrity. But I'm telling you, it's better to make sure that you have someone that's accountable. Because if she could reach out to Stevie J, he's either not going to answer the phone and not going to respond. But if there's a handler involved that you book the interview through, that's the person that I would have immediately reached out to immediately. Because when you book this celebrity, they may not be. I mean, you gotta do things according to a protocol. There's a reason that there are processes in place. But I was just it made me very sad that he would be that disrespectful to himself, to that young lady, and to Black media, period. Like, I would never.
Isn't he still married to Faith?
He's still married to Faith, yeah. And he mentioned that. I hope not. I hope not. I don't think so.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I do want to say your hair looks nice.
My hair is, I just washed it and put it up because.
No, actually, I took that from.
I know, Offended Citizen. I was like, I want to say thank you, but I'm also afraid because it does not look nice, but I appreciate the compliment. It definitely does not. I usually do not.
No, listen, it's after 9 o'clock. This is what we do.
This is how I look after 9 o'clock.
Right. This is how we look after 9 o'clock. I'm literally about to play some pool because that's how I unwind.
Good for you.
But yeah,
I hope that he apologizes.
That's not happening.
Doubt it.
In order for that to happen, you have to believe you did something wrong. And based on the way when she said that she liked his son and his response to that, it's not happening.
Yeah,
Did you hear that part?
I did not hear that part. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the. I was just so disgusted. I was just like, because we saw him, exhibit some ridiculous behavior when he first started with Love and Hip Hop. He got a lot of accolades and acknowledgement for it. So it's like his bad behavior paid off in dividends. He got quite a few seasons on Love and Hip Hop, his own show. He
was the show.
He was the show, but it was all from bad behavior, and it was behavior that you would not expect a man of 50 to still be doing. But this made me sad because I was like, he has not grown. He's not going to grow. As he refuses to grow. He's getting old for no reason.
And we're not gonna gloss over the fact that he was at Puff's house when that interview was happening.
And the funny thing is, Jocelyn just had a fight on her cabaret show where she attacked some of the young ladies that look up to her that came on the show. So it's like neither of them are progressing or maturing. So we might as well just put them back. Mona to just put them back on Love and Hip Hop, start that over again.
Yeah, I saw that. I think Jocelyn was trending on Twitter.
She's trending because she actually acknowledged that she did hit the girl and beat a couple of girls up, and she thinks that's cool. So
she said also, which she's wrong. She said, you can't sue. You're on a reality show. You can't sue. I beg to differ.
Basically, that show premiered about 10, 12 years ago.
What Zeus? The show she's on?
No, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta.
But this is a cabaret show.
Right, it's our cabaret show. But we were introduced to Jocelyn on Love and Hip
Oh,
Hop.
right.
And nothing has changed.
Yeah.
Both of them are still doing the same things they were doing on the show. There's been no progression. So it's unfortunate. Leah, I hope this helps her channel, or, you know, I don't know. But shame on Stevie. And it's just a testament to what happens when people are not.
Shame on Leah for not hanging up.
I guess
I'm not blaming. I'm not doing blaming. No, shame on both of them. But more importantly, shame on Stevie for getting on the platform. But don't let no. And I would just say that it's no interview that important that you will compromise your integrity.
I agree.
You know, some stories are not even worth doing.
I agree.
You know, so I think that should be the takeaway. It really
showed that he didn't have any respect for her as a Black woman. Like it's deeper than just she should have hung up. It's disrespectful.
Well, he had respect for himself. How about that?
Right. He does not have any respect. He doesn't.
You gotta have respect for yourself. You know, this is like no brainer for most people. A no brainer. You know, I interviewed Faith. He was on. You know, he was right next to her, but it was like the things he was doing while I was trying to interview her, and I just thought it was like, okay,
no class.
Well, CJ, it's been lovely talking to you.
Yes. As always. I we'll have to have another one of these conversations. I want you to come to Power 108.9 so we can talk about this. Just hit these points, especially once we figure out what's going to happen with this this trial with Jussie Smollet. Last question, Dennis, on that. Is he gonna have to wait for another court date? So that means this is gonna be dragged.
This is going to another court, so it won't be at that same judge. It's going to, once the judge's job is done, once he sentences him, now it goes to the appeals court. They may ask for a new trial. Mm-hmm. They may ask for a reduction in the sentence. They may ask for the entire case to be thrown out based on a totality of things. It being, because he got picked up, it may be double jeopardy. And I don't know, because if he took a plea in the other case, he agreed to certain things. Yeah. So I don't know if it goes to the double jeopardy, because you can't be tried
for the same crime
again. And I didn't know how they got over the threshold of double jeopardy. And I'm sure that was a point that they made. And the same court that he's going back to has to, they got to hear this again. So I don't know. This is going to be interesting. But I've never thought that he was innocent of the charges. I just thought that he probably needed some type of mental help, because it was just crazy.
But if he was going to get mental help, that could have been done. I think that would have been great for his lawyer to have suggested, so that by the time he went to court, they could say, you know what, these are the steps that he's done. This is all the things that he's done to show retribution. And I think he probably would have.
Well, he had to take a self-defense. He had to take insanity plea, and that clearly would have killed his career. He would have to take insanity plea. So,
and it's crazy, because I think his career is going to be just fine. All the celebrity support.
Oh yeah. Of course,
it's fine. We are in crazy times, Dennis Byron. I don't know what's
happening. He's an actor. They want to make sure he keeps that roll up, keep that. But see, Jussie, when he threw the fist up, I'm like, oh man, you messed up.
I feel like that was disrespectful.
That was very disrespectful. But it wasn't. I mean, let me just ask you a question. Do you really think this guy, jail time, 150 days, will do something to correct his behavior?
No.
So what's the point then? Jail's for correction.
I don't think that 5 months in jail is putting him on the cross. I think that it's showing him that is bad. That is not acceptable. You were wrong, and you have to be held accountable, even though you're famous, you have a famous family, and you've been around celebrities. This was wrong. And I think all the people supporting him are crazy. It's like, okay, yes, other people have gotten off for things, but that doesn't mean that is not a defense. That is not a defense unless those cases are used in your legal defense. The court of public opinion saying, well, she did it, and that's not how things work. So, but that's
still in the court, so we have to see. Yeah. We also have another case is coming up real soon. 2 cases.
What?
We can talk about that offline, but there's 2 other big cases coming up.
Okay.
Both
Well,
sides.
like I said, we'll talk offline. Then I definitely want to have you come do a report, because I think the way that we look at celebrity and its impact on the legal system has changed so much, over the last 5 years, even the last 2 years, specifically with the art, like I said, the R. Kelly case to me was a huge sign that, what we see celebrities get behind and push, and the way they're able to impact public opinion, it actually,
Well, he
like,
didn't have a lot of celebrities behind him. R. Kelly
there were
did.
celebrities took their support away because of that, documentary.
Right.
And you had celebrities in the documentary speaking out against R. Kelly. We had never seen that before. And all these celebrities knew what was going on, but nobody ever, said anything until now. And then it's like, oh, well, we don't support that. Okay. But that made a difference. So now, with this situation, I'm telling you, Dennis, when I saw all those celebrities in support of Jussie, I was like, something's going to happen, because we don't, popular opinion is law at this point.
And that's scary.
It is scary. It is scary. It's very scary. So I appreciate you. I love hearing your commentary. I love watching your page and listening to, because I do think that in all the gossip conversation, we do need to understand the legal perspective and what is actually why things go the way they do. And we also understand that the legal system is so flawed. It's so ridiculously flawed. So ridiculously
Absolutely.
flawed. So
And
hopefully, we will, we won't be
we'll
in
reconvene.
Yes, we won't be in World War III, hopefully, and we'll reconvene.
Oh my goodness. I was thinking about that as I talked to you.
Yeah.
I need to get the update on what's going on.
Yeah.
What's going on right now, because it's kind of, it's in the back of most people's mind. And just what happened today where President Zelensky pleaded to President Biden, for more aid and support. But the problem there is, they're not even part of NATO. And, if it's going to put American lives at risk, we just, we can't do it. While he's pleading for his people, President Biden's job is to make sure that he doesn't put us in a World War III trying to help someone.
Trying to help a country that,
Right. Meanwhile, I had to go there. Their blacks been trying to get out of Ukraine, and they've been treated like it was very awful.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that we cannot love someone else more than we love ourselves, and that's
been a consistent theme for a while. I'm interested to see how Biden will respond, and I am concerned. I'm very concerned. Let me ask you this question. This is a controversial question. Do you think things would have been different if President Trump was in office as opposed to Biden?
I think a lot of what's happening is as a result of Biden being in office. It's bigger than what you and I.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
I think that first of all, former President Trump wanted to get out of NATO. He wanted America out of NATO. He didn't want to be a part of NATO, and that would have exposed us to anyone else who wanted to come after America. And I think that Trump, I don't know how much he had a lot of influence, the KGB guy had more influence on Trump than Trump had on him. Because if Trump really had respect from Putin, we would never been attacked through cyber attack. And this happened in 2016 when when Hillary Clinton's information from the server was leaked. So I don't think Putin has any real allegiance to Trump. I think that Trump was being played like a puppet. And I think when you have oligarchs come into the White House, sitting down with Trump and making deals, we don't know how deep this thing goes, but uh, former director Mueller in his, while he didn't recommend Trump to be impeached, or did he? He was impeached twice. It was enough for him to be impeached. There were things that was buried, and if we, I don't want to talk about Trump right now because we could go. That's a whole.
Yeah, no, I
don't want to go there.
It's not even necessarily so much about Trump. I just don't think that. I think that our country, we are at a place where there's weak. The leadership is weak, and I think
the leadership on within America.
Yes,
okay.
I think so.
So what do you think should happen if you say we're weak? What do you think? How do you think?
Honestly, I don't know at this point. I mean, I kind of wish Kamala would. I just think that Biden is not. I guess it was the lesser of two evils, and we had to do what we did. But I don't have a lot of.
Do you think we should be helping the Ukrainian people?
I don't, but I also think that I recently learned that we're only hearing one side of the story because Russian information is blocked here. We can't see what's happening on Russian television. So we only have one side of the story. So I feel like we're all being played anyway.
I mean, it's not our fight.
No, it's not. It's not our fight. It's not our fight at all. But you also have to realize when you don't get involved, then when something comes, when the tables are turned on you, because eventually America, I don't think is going to be such a stronghold.
Well, as long as they're a member of NATO, and Putin doesn't violate Article 5, which if you attack any member of NATO, then that kicks in Article 5, which now everyone has to engage.
Right.
And the fact that they get close to Poland right now, it's very scary because the minute they violate Article 5, is on
it's a whole nother ball game.
World War, right. Now it's about might. And the way the Ukrainians have been able to push back with the Russian troops, this is bigger. And Putin has said so much. Putin has said out his own mouth that if any members of NATO engage in, violate what he's trying to do, basically, the world will see something they've never seen before. We've seen a lot of stuff. So 9/11. I've seen, I was in New York during 9/11, and I just can't imagine, there's no wins when you go in the third, because once the nuclear weapons are fired, it's just all right. Just kiss your kids.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, you can't. There's no boundaries on that, and it that's scary. But I just, that's scary.
Yeah, very scary. But let's keep this positive. I gotta go check on my stew.
I was like, let's end this on a good note. I appreciate everybody for hanging out with us late on a Wednesday night. We'll definitely revisit this conversation when there's more to talk about with Jussie, and hopefully we'll hear more about the Chris Brown case as well.
If he files,
I hope he does, man. I
do too.
Yeah.
I mean,
hopefully your lamb stew will be great. I'll look for a report in the morning on how.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to eat it. It's too late. I just want to make sure it's done.
You're going to put it up and okay, cool.
Oh yeah.
Let me know tomorrow how your stew is. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, and I will see you later, Dennis.
Thank you, Christal. Appreciate you guys coming in and joining us. And you know what to do.
Bye.
Bye.